Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. Today I am going to review another Papo figure, and it is another figure that I was tempted to review simply because of posting a repaint video of some knockoffs. So I figured while I have the knockoff out, I might as well post a video of the original, and it is the Papo Dimetrodon. Now, as I said, I did review the knockoff as well, and that was this guy here that I repainted myself, and there is actually other knockoffs as well, and that would make it this one here. So I have quite the little gang of Dimetrodon here. I will say that none of them compare to the original Papo. The original Papo is awesome, as most of Papo's figures always are. I feel like Papo does such a great job on everything they do, and that's probably why so many of these bootleggers are quick to knock them off and make their own versions to catch on to the profit of Papo's awesome sculpt work. So we won't waste any time and we will get straight into looking at the Papo Dimetrodon. So straight away looking at the Papo, you can see very nicely done. Beautiful sculpt work done here on the head. The Dimetrodon's head looks very realistic to me. I think the eye looks very real. It looks just super nicely done. It's just a small little dot there for the pupil. For something so small, they really did make the eye stand out and look very good. You can see the jaw is articulated, and you can see the tongue inside there. Now, unfortunately, I think that that's probably one of the only drawbacks of this figure. If you look here at the tongue, you can actually see when the jaw is open, you can see under the tongue there. And I don't know why they did that, what caused that, or if that's only on my figure, but it's kind of an obnoxious little spot, so I like to keep the mouth closed. You can actually see that the teeth are sculpted nicely, but they didn't sculpt them individually, which is also different for Papo, as I think the teeth on Papo's dinosaurs usually always look very good. But it's not to say that they look terrible here, because they don't look bad, but I would expect a little better out of Papo as far as the teeth go. The inside of the mouth is also a very realistic color in my opinion, but unfortunately that tongue really drives me a little bit crazy. You can see some nice skin folds here on the neck as you go down the back. Very realistic detailing done all over. The underside of the neck sculpted nicely too. Some skin hanging here on the neck. The hands and legs are sculpted beautifully. I really like those. They look very realistic. It looks like it could just be a legit living lizard just standing here in my hand. I really do like the paint coloration of this. I think the paint scheme is a very realistic color, and it's applied and it's done very nicely. The sail is fantastic, it really is. It looks so good. The way that they've painted this and sculpted it, it looks just super realistic. You can see it folding with the body as the body's turning. The sail is bending along with it, so beautiful touch there. Whereas most companies would just have that strong, non-bendable sail, it would just be stiff. Papo did not do that. They made you actually see that the sail does bend. That's beautiful attention to detail. You can see some nice skin folds here on the side of the Dimetrodon. The entire underside is sculpted beautifully. Absolutely awesome, especially the paint work done on the underside with the little brown spots. And then the tail looks very nice as well. As I said, beautiful coloration, some nice dark brown stripes, and some incredible sculpt work done all over the place on the skin and scales. It looks super good, very realistic. So overall, this is a beautiful model. Fantastic version of a Dimetrodon. Again, Papo really pulling through. The only thing that is an unfortunate side effect of this is the mouth isn't that great, but it could be worse, and with the mouth closed you don't notice it at all. So great job on this as far as Papo goes. There is this knockoff that I repainted. I'm not really going to go over this much, but what I did want to show you guys was the mouth on this. You can see, I mentioned this in the other video, the articulated jaw is so badly done that you can actually see straight through the mouth on the bottom. So I did want to point that out. If anybody's thinking of getting just the knockoff version over an original, I would definitely say do not do it, because the quality of the original is way better than the quality of the knockoffs. Now this knockoff here is actually probably one of the best ones I've seen. As far as detail, it didn't lose too much of it, but it definitely did lose some. The original looks much better and would have looked way better had I repainted an original, but unfortunately I painted a knockoff because it was very cheap. The original, way better. We won't actually look at the knockoff that I had repainted because I did put it in that repaint video. I will put a link in the description to that video if you would like to see it. So just click that if you want to see that other knockoff that I repainted. This is one of the many bootlegs out there of the Papo Dimetrodon. And as you can see, tons of detail has been lost when they bootlegged this. Primarily the sculpt work here on the top of the head is almost non-existent compared to what was on the Papo one. The teeth are pretty sloppily painted, but not terribly. They are all just kind of meshed together though, pretty much like the Papo one was, but the Papo's teeth looked better. The only upside to this one, in my opinion, as opposed to the Papo version, is that you can't see that messed up looking tongue on the inside. The tongue actually looks fairly decent on this one, but overall, I think because of the amount of detail lost this one has suffered, that even with the redeeming tongue, it doesn't even compare to the original Papo. I do actually like the color scheme of this. I think that it looks pretty good. The sail looks really nice too as well. Beautiful coloration on it, so they did a good job as far as the paint, and the paint application itself actually looks really good on this as well. It's just that the model itself has lost so much detail that it really takes away from it. The eye is just a sloppily colored orange color, so I mean, I guess they're not striving for perfection like Papo does, so they don't really have to worry about their models looking perfect like I think Papos usually do. They just basically wanted to knock something out there on the market to capitalize on Papo's popularity and the awesome sculpt of their Dimetrodon, which this one's not terrible, but the original is way better, and this one does not have an articulated jaw, and that is another downside to this bootleg. You don't have the option of opening and closing the mouth, whereas with the original you do. This one actually, if you look at it, is a little bit bigger as well than the original Papo one, so maybe if you wanted to buy this one, you can get it just as a little bit of a larger relative of the original with less detail and a little bit of a sloppier paint job, but it's not terrible, I guess. As far as the size goes, for the original, you're looking at about 6.5 inches long, and height-wise, a little over 3 inches, in between 3 and 3.5 inches high. For the knockoff version right here, he is about 6.5 inches long and about almost 3.5 inches tall. So they're pretty close in size, but this one's a little bigger than this one. Not by too much, but definitely a little bit. So overall, I definitely love the Papo one. I think the Papo one looks beautiful. It looks very real, very alive. The coloration on it, very realistic, in my opinion. Tons of different shades done to it. Lots of nice coloration all over. The sculpt work is beautiful. For the knockoff, not so much. They, as I said, lost a ton of detail. They didn't do near as much as far as shading goes. I think that the paint on the knockoff doesn't look terrible, but it could be a lot better. The eye looks really bad, but overall, the color scheme that they went with doesn't look bad, and the sail has a nice coloration to it, but unfortunately, with the loss of detail, it does not compare again to the original. The original looks much better. The only downside again to the original is the tongue looks kind of bad. But overall, it's a beautiful version of a Dimetrodon, and the knockoff isn't that bad either, especially if you get this knockoff, and then you can just repaint it for yourself and make yourself a nice little Dimetrodon family. It's not the worst thing in the world, and it's pretty fun to have a group. I will link you guys in the description as to where you can purchase at least this one. As far as the bootlegs go, I don't know if I can find him anymore. It's been a while since I purchased him, so I don't know for sure if I can. Again, like I said before, for the Dilophosaurus, you can always check wish.com, as they sell a lot of these knockoff dinosaurs, or just search around on eBay, you might be able to find it. I will also link you guys to the incredible original Papo Dimetrodon in the description, so if you are interested in that, check the description. There will be a link there as to where you can purchase it. And please like, comment, and subscribe, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.